Hey guys, it's Sekaar, and we've got the first build of the High Isle chapter coming at you. We're going to be doing a Stamplar video, and I've been really liking this today. Today was my first day playing. I took a few days off. I didn't really get to play for the first 2 days of the patch, but we are starting now. I played this today. I had such a fun time on it. I didn't really get any clips on it, so I'm sorry, but you guys really please take my word for it that it's definitely a build that's worth using. I had so much fun, and trust me, it definitely did the job. So guys, I really hope you enjoyed the video, and yeah, let's get on with it. All right, guys, let's get started. First things first, let's look at our gear. We are going to be a Imperial on this build. Imperial is going to counteract our Vamp Stage 3. What Vamp Stage 3 does, it basically makes you so tanky, getting that Undeath passive. So you're basically getting built-in Pariah with just being a Vampire on this build. So you want to be a Vampire, and you want to bring that to Stage 3. You don't need to be Stage 4. And being an Imperial as your race will help counteract that as far as your increased costs. It'll counteract that. So that's why we're being Imperial on this build. I think Imperial is the best stamina class in the game right now. And then our Mundus is going to be the Apprentice. It's going to increase our spell damage by 238. And yes, I set spell damage on a stam build. Templar, you can get a higher spell damage than weapon damage, so that's why you go with that. Ever since the last patch, you could all of your abilities basically scale off of your max spell or weapon damage, so it's whichever one's higher. And spell damage, you can get a higher tooltip on your Templar, so that's why we're going with the spell damage Apprentice Mundus. And then our food is going to be Orzoga smoked bear haunch. What this does is it gives you max health, and it also gives you health, magic, and stamina recovery for 2 hours. And this is, in my opinion, the best food in the game right now. It lets you just build so much into both magic and stam abilities, and it really helps with this hybrid meta that's going on right now. And then, like I said, Vamp Stage 3 is what our, is what we're doing as well. And as far as our gear, oh my god, I forgot where. There it is. Our gear, our monster set is going to be Magma Incarnate, as you can see. Our helmet is going to be heavy reinforced, and our shoulder is going to be medium impen. And what Magma Incarnate does is you get, for the one piece, magic and stamina recovery, and then for the two piece, basically you're going to be getting, when you heal yourself, you're going to be getting minor courage and minor resolve. So it's going to increase your weapon and spell damage by 215, and it's going to increase your armor by 3k. And this also bounces to your allies as well. Our chest piece is going to be a heavy Wretched Vitality piece in Reinforced. What Wretched Vitality does is the 2-3 piece gives you magic stamina recovery, the 4 piece gives you weapon and spell damage, and the 5 piece, when you're in combat, basically when you apply a major buff or debuff and then a minor buff or debuff, you get about 400 magic and stamina recovery, which is absolutely huge for recovery. And another easy way to just remember to apply this all the time is Race Against Time, which we do have on this build. Applies both of oh my god, I can't even talk. Race Against Time activates both conditions of this set, so just using that, you're set for this entire set. So use Race Against Time to proc that and get your recovery up through the roof on this build. Your waist piece is going to be a medium belt of Wretched Vitality in Impen. Your legs are going to be heavy Wretched Vitality in Reinforced. You're going to have medium bracers of the Trainee in Impen. Trainee, you have an extra slot on this build, so always get that on, and you can increase your max health by 1.4k. And then our boots are going to be Boots of the Essence Thief in Impen. What Essence Thief does is we get that 2 and 3 piece of max stam, so that's pretty good for your sustain. And then your 4 piece is going to give you weapon and spell damage. And then your 5 piece, basically by doing a light or heavy attack, you draw out a pool, the green pool, that once you step in it, you heal for 5.2k, you restore stamina, and increases your damage done by 10% for 10 seconds. So I love the sustain you get from that, and the damage that you get is pretty crazy too. Both of our rings are going to be Rings of the Essence Thief with spell damage enchantments, and they're both in the Swift trait, as you can see. And then the newest part about this build, the newest part of this chapter that I have been in love with, is Sea Serpent's Coil. It's going to be in the spell damage enchant in the Swift trait. And what Sea Serpents does is while you are full health, gain 40% damage reduction. After you take damage while at full health in combat, you gain Serpent's Rebuke for 10 seconds, and you snare yourself by 40% and gaining Major Berserk and Major Courage, increasing your damage done by 10% and getting that weapon and spell damage increased by 430. I think that is just a no-brainer. Swift basically, triple Swift basically counteracts that, and our CP is going to help us as well with your movement. And I just think that there's just too much damage in this not to use. It was the biggest mythic this patch that I was looking forward to. I think that everybody's using that 1-bar ring, but I think that this one has been flying under the radar, and I definitely think it's worth the shot. I have been really liking using it today, and I definitely recommend worth it. Definitely recommend trying it. It's definitely worth it. Please, please, please check it out. The grind for it is not that bad. The hardest part about it is do your writs every day, and when you do those, save your jewelry enchanting, your jewelry surveys. That's the hardest part about this entire lead grind. Just getting that one, and yeah. So anyway, let's move on. Our front bar weapon is going to be Maul of the Essence Thief in the Sharpen trait with a weapon and spell damage enchantment on it. So what this does for a Maul, which is where we're using that in the Sharpen instead of a Greatsword, Maul is going to increase your penetration. So that is why we're using that. I think that it's without a doubt so much better to use than a Greatsword. Then our back bar, we're using a Sword and Shield of Retro Vitality. Our sword is going to be empowered, and our shield is going to be sturdy. And as far as our skills go, our front bar is going to be biting jabs. You get, I looked at the tooltip, and the tooltip gets to about 5k when you're fully buffed, and I think that that's actually so massive on jabs. You hit so hard with this, and it's so fun to use, especially with Sea Serpents up and then Magma up. You're hitting absolutely so hard, and then on top of that, with your Essence up as well, the damage on this is actually crazy. I'm loving it so much. Jabs are going to be your main spammable. It's just a Templar. Jabs are always your main spammable. Camo Hunter, by having this active, you're just going to have Major Savagery and Major Prophecy, so it's going to increase your weapon and spell crit by 2.6k, so that's huge. And then also, if you deal damage from the flank, which is pretty easy to do if you use your spear properly, you're going to get Minor Berserk for 5 seconds, so you're going to get even more damage on them too. Rally, I know that a lot of you guys are going to say that we don't need Rally on this build because jabs also give Major Brutality, which is what Rally gives as well. But I liked it for the Minor Endurance as well as the heal too. I really... I know that I can put something else on this bar, but I just really, really, really like that burst heal when you're in those kind of oh dang situations. It really helps out so much. Binding Javelin, this is going to be your CC. You don't really want to use this as damage. You mostly just want to use this as a CC when you line up your abilities properly. So this goes to your block nowadays, and I think that that's just the most clutch ability on this. If you're fighting against somebody who just won't let go of block, you just hit him with that Purifying Light, start jabbing him a bunch, hit him with your Crescent Sweep, and then Javelin at them at the end. You're going to do so much damage to them. It's unbelievable. So I really, really, really like Javelin for this. And then Purifying Light, this is going to absorb all the damage that you do to them and turn it back into them for 50%. So say you do, for instance, 10k damage to somebody while your Purifying Light is active, it's gonna explode for 5k damage. So I'm absolutely in love with this. Ever since I got buffed, I think it does so much damage. It's so good. Crescent Sweep, it's basically spammable with how cheap it is. It's only 74 ult, and it hits like a truck too. So if you just hit that properly and just line it up, you're just absolutely deleting people. It's so much fun. Our back bar, this is where all of our buffs are. We're going to have as our first ability, we're going to have Restoring Focus. So this is going to give you your Major Resolve. And so by having that active, you're going to increase your physical and spell resistance by 6k. And it is absolutely massive to keep that going. And while standing in the rune, you're going to heal for 2.4k. The healing on this build is nuts. I love Restoring Focus. Basically, there's a reason why Templars just camp their rune all the time and just never leave it. It's just too good not to do. Race Against Time is your next ability. This is what I was talking about earlier. That's going to proc both conditions of your Wretched Vitality. By activating this, you're going to get Minor Force and Major Expedition. So there's that Major Minor that I was talking about earlier. So you're going to be fast, which is going to also help with your Sea Serpent's Rebuke Snare. So you're going to want to keep that active while you're, when your Sea Serpents activates. But also on top of that, you're going to get that Minor Force. So it's going to increase your critical damage by 10% as well. And it's going to be your snare removal too. So that's huge as well. And Resolving Vigor, this is going to be one of your main heals that you want to keep up at all times. I have absolutely loved it so much. It is just the best stamina heal in the game. It has been forever, and I see it really no reason for it to ever... I see no reason for it to be nerfed anytime soon. It's just so good on stamina classes. Living Dark, a lot of people said, oh no, it got nerfed. It's 12 seconds long now. It's ridiculous how good it is still. Like, there's really no reason not to use it. A 12-second heal for 2.6k, and it snares them too? Why aren't you, like, why do people think that this has been nerfed? It's still so good. And then Extended Ritual, this is going to cleanse you of 5 harmful effects from you, so it's huge, but make sure not to use it when you have Plague Break on you too much, if you're around too many people, or you will blow up your team. But, you know, and it's also a little bit of a heal over time too. It's not much, but it still helps. Then our backbar ult is going to be Spell Wall. This is just a great way to just mitigate your damage coming in. It is it'll reflect all projectiles, so I just like to use that if you need to go offensive and it's really hard to as well. And then finally, our champion points. I tried to do a few things different this patch. We have Master at Arms, which got nerfed. We have Biting Aura, which got nerfed to 6%, both of them. We have Ironclad, which got nerfed to 6% as well. And then the other thing that I wanted to try was using Oculent Overload. Having people explode for 12.8k has been absolutely insane. I've been using this all day, and I just absolutely love it so much. You just see entire groups just explode. It's really helpful to play with a DK or something when I do this. I was playing with a DK earlier today. I was using Oculent Overload on both this and on my Magic Necro. And it was absolutely disgusting the amount of groups we blew up just because of Oculent Overload. 12.8k Oblivion damage. That's through block. That's through everything. It's huge. Our red trait is going to be Fortified. Celerity. Celerity, please, please, please use. Do not... If you're using Sea Serpents on this build, use Celerity. You need to. That's the only way for it to work, really. If you do Triple Swift and Celerity, I promise you that's the only way I think this build will work. Boundless Vitality, increasing your max health. And then Sustained by Suffering, increasing your magic health and stamina recovery by 30% per stage while under the effects of negative effect, which is 150 in the end. And I definitely think that it's worth it. You're always having a status effect on you, so definitely use this. It's just free 150 recovery. And then the only things that are important in the green tree are Rationer. You know, Orzogas is expensive, so definitely use this. Liquid Efficiency. And Gifted Rider, increasing that mount speed. And what's also very important is Breakfall. Definitely use that as well. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching the video. I know this is the first video I've had in a long time where I did a build video. This is the first one of the new patch. I want to make a lot of builds for the next few months, and I'm really excited about it. I need to get some more transmutes to make as many as I want. But guys, I really appreciate you guys being here. If you've made it to the end of this video and you haven't yet, I would really appreciate if you subscribe to the channel. Helps me out so much. It really does. We're trying to grow out here, and I really appreciate every single one of you. So guys, without further ado, we're going to end the video. I really appreciate you guys, and I will see you guys on the next video. Later.